In the vast, silent expanse of ancient times, God's voice pierced the quiet, calling a man named Abram to embark on a journey that would echo through eternity. This is not just a story of a man and his God. It's a testament to unwavering faith and the power of divine promises, a narrative that begins in the book of Genesis, chapter 12. Imagine leaving everything you've ever known, your home, your family, your entire world, based on a promise. This was the monumental choice facing Abram. God's call was direct and profound. Leave your country, your people and your father's household, and go to the land I will show you. These words, recorded in Genesis 12:1, were not a suggestion, but a divine directive. Abram, a man of great faith, listened. He didn't question. He didn't hesitate. He trusted the voice of God and obeyed, setting out from his homeland of yore, leaving behind the familiar comforts and securities of his life. This act of obedience was the first step in a journey that would test his spirit and forge his destiny. His wife, Sarai, and his nephew Lot accompanied him, along with all their possessions, venturing into the unknown, guided only by a promise. What was this promise that could compel a man to uproot his entire existence? God's covenant with Abram was nothing short of extraordinary. He promised, "I will make you into a great nation. I will bless you and make your name great." This wasn't just about personal prosperity. It was about legacy, about becoming a source of blessing for all the peoples on earth. Think about the magnitude of this promise. Abram was childless, and his wife Sarai was past the age of childbearing. Yet God promised him descendants as numerous as the stars in the sky and a nation that would spring from him. This covenant wasn't built on human logic or tangible evidence. It was forged in the currency of faith. It was a call to trust God completely, even when the path was shrouded in uncertainty and the fulfillment seemed impossible. God's promise was a beacon of hope in a future Abram could not see. With this incredible promise fueling his steps, Abram journeyed obediently toward the land of Canaan. This was a long and arduous trek through unfamiliar territories. He didn't just walk. He worshipped. Along the way, he built altars to the Lord, marking his path with acts of devotion and gratitude. These weren't just piles of stones. They were declarations of faith, physical manifestations of his relationship with the unseen God who guided him. Upon arriving in Canaan, at a place called Shechem, God appeared to him once more. The divine voice that had called him from his home now reaffirmed the promise with greater clarity. "To your offspring I will give this land." With each step and each encounter, Abram's faith was not just tested, but also strengthened. The journey was transforming him, solidifying his trust in the God who had called him into this new life. However, the path of faith is rarely without its trials. Soon after arriving in the promised land, a severe famine gripped the region. The land that was supposed to be a gift now seemed unable to sustain them. Faced with starvation, Abram made a difficult decision to go down to Egypt, a land known for its agricultural abundance thanks to the Nile. This move was a test of his reliance on God's protection in times of hardship. But human fear began to creep in. Abram knew that his wife Sarai was exceptionally beautiful. In a foreign land, he worried that a powerful ruler, like the Pharaoh of Egypt, might desire her and kill him to take her. This fear would lead him to make a choice that would complicate their journey and test God's providence in an unexpected way. Driven by this fear for his own life, Abram devised a plan. As they approached Egypt, he said to Sarai, "Say you are my sister, so that I will be treated well for your sake, and my life will be spared because of you." This was a half-truth, as Sarai was his half-sister, but it was fundamentally a deception born of fear, a momentary lapse in trusting God's complete protection. Just as Abram had feared, when the Egyptian officials saw Sarai's beauty, they praised her to Pharaoh, and she was taken into his palace. Abram was treated well, receiving sheep, cattle, and servants, but it came at the cost of his integrity and his wife's safety. It seemed his plan had worked, But he had placed Sarai in immense danger, relying on his own cunning rather than God's power. But God does not abandon his people, even when they falter. The narrative takes a dramatic turn as God intervenes directly to protect the integrity of his covenant. The Lord afflicted Pharaoh and his household with serious diseases because of Abram's wife Sarai. It was a clear and powerful message. Pharaoh, realizing something was terribly wrong, summoned Abram. He confronted him. "What is this you have done to me? Why didn't you tell me she was your wife?" The truth was revealed, not by Abram's confession, but by God's powerful intervention. Pharaoh, now understanding the divine protection over this family, rebuked Abram and immediately ordered him, his wife, and all their possessions to be sent away from Egypt. They left, not in disgrace, but with their lives and their wealth intact, a stark lesson learned about the importance of complete trust in God. After their sojourn in Egypt, Abram, Sarai, and Lot returned to the land of Canaan, to the area between Bethel and Ai, where Abram had first built an altar. They were now exceedingly wealthy, possessing vast herds of livestock, silver, and gold. But this great wealth brought a new and unexpected conflict. The land could not support both Abram's and Lot's massive flocks and herds. Scarcity of resources led to quarreling between their herdsmen, creating tension within the family. Abram, displaying wisdom and a peacemaker's heart, saw that they could not continue on together. He approached Lot with a generous and selfless offer to resolve the conflict. Abram's character shines brightly in this moment of potential strife. Instead of asserting his right as the elder and leader of the clan, he offered his nephew the first choice of the land. He said, "Let's not have any quarreling between you and me, or between your herdsmen and mine, for we are close relatives. Is not the whole land before you? Let's part company." His proposal was incredibly gracious. "If you go to the left, I will go to the right. If you go to the right, I will go to the left." Abram placed his relationship with Lot and the peace of his household above his own personal gain, demonstrating a profound trust that God would provide for him no matter which piece of land was left. He was willing to take what was left over, confident in God's ongoing promise. Faced with this generous offer, Lot looked up and surveyed the landscape. He saw that the whole plain of the Jordan Valley was well watered, like the garden of the Lord, reminiscent of the fertile land of Egypt they had just left. It was lush, green, and promised great prosperity. From a purely worldly perspective, it was the obvious choice. So Lot chose for himself the entire plain of the Jordan and set out toward the east, settling near the city of Sodom. He made his choice based on what his eyes could see, seeking immediate material advantage. In contrast, Abram was left with the less visually appealing hill country of Canaan. Lot moved toward a place that was known for its wickedness, while Abram remained in the land God had promised him, his choice guided not by sight, but by his enduring faith. After Lot had departed, separating himself from Abram, God once again spoke to the faithful patriarch. In this moment, after Abram had selflessly given away the most fertile land, God appeared to reaffirm his covenant in an even more expansive way. God told him, "Lift up your eyes from where you are and look north and south, east and west. All the land that you see, I will give to you and your offspring forever." This was not just a promise of a small territory, but of a vast and enduring inheritance. God further promised, "I will make your offspring like the dust of the earth, so that if anyone could count the dust, then your offspring could be counted." Then God gave him a final command. "Go, walk through the length and breadth of the land, for I am giving it to you." This wasn't just a promise for the future. It was an invitation to experience the gift in the present, to walk in the reality of God's faithfulness. The stories from Genesis chapters 12 and 13 are far more than ancient history. They are a profound exploration of what it means to live a life of faith. Abram's journey from his initial call and act of obedience to his moments of fear and failure, his generosity, and his unwavering trust offers timeless lessons. We learn that faith is not the absence of fear, but the choice to trust God in spite of it. We see that obedience, even when the destination is unknown, unlocks divine blessing. And we are reminded that God's promises are not dependent on our own strength or circumstances, but on His unchanging character. Abram's story is a powerful encouragement that no matter the uncertainties we face, God's plans for those who trust Him are always greater than we can possibly imagine. His journey had only just begun, but the foundations of faith were firmly laid. Thank you for joining us on this journey back in time. If this story of faith and promise resonated with you, please like this video and subscribe to our channel for more content that explores the depths of these timeless narratives. Stay faithful, and we'll see you next time.